Hello everyone, my name is Austin Hannum and this is what's in my bag for the 2019 season. I'm going to go ahead and go putters, mid-ranges, fairways, and then the high-speed drivers. So I'm going to start with my putting putters. I got two putting putters. I chose the Jawbreaker Challenger SS's. I just like these because they're super glidey, they're beadless, and they're just really comfortable to me. So yeah, that's just kind of, I go off the feel. Next up we got a magnet, very old. I don't even know how old this disc is, but this is for more of like a, like if I get in the woods, I'll be throwing this a lot, and kind of longer jump putts. If there's no wind, I like to kind of just spin this towards the basket and try to put in. And then we got two zones. I got one ESP zone and one Jawbreaker. This disc is probably one of my favorites in the Discraft lineup. I like to throw a lot of sidearms with this disc, the ESP one. Backhands, I usually like Jawbreaker. I want to throw it hard and with a little scissor, and it'll just pop up flat and go really straight for me. So definitely check out the zone. That's all for my putters. Right now I got 4 mid-ranges in the bag. Start off with the Z Buzz. The Buzz, definitely my favorite mid-range I've ever thrown. Buzzes are just super straight and they go wherever you throw them, whatever angle you put them on. That's yeah. And then I got the first run Buzz. This disc is awesome. It actually took the place of the Comet because it's just so old and beat up. I throw it flat and it just kind of holds over, and it's just perfect for what I need it for. Third is this Ace Race Archer. This is another one that's going to be really good in the woods. I really like to use it for jump putts from like 100 feet. Like to jump putt the Archer and just kind of spin it again towards the basket. And then lastly is this Big Z drone. The drone is definitely an awesome disc. This hasn't been in my bag for 6 years. Definitely a very special disc to me. It'll probably be in my bag for a very long time. Next, I'll go with my fairway drivers. We got 5 of them. Start through like the woods and stuff too. Next is the Predator. This disc is really good for just like throwing them kind of really hard on hyzer, and it'll just get up and just have a consistent straight flight. And then it'll obviously finish left. Next is the Glow Stalker. This is kind of just like a longer buzz for me. Very straight with a little finish to the right. I won't be throwing this much out here in Arizona, but this is definitely a very good disc later on in the season when we get to the woods. And then also the Undertaker. This disc is pretty similar to the Stalker. It's a little more stable for me. I don't know if it's the plastics or whatever, but I like to throw this disc on some hyzer and it'll come up flat for a while and then it'll just finish left at the very end. So this is a pretty good disc. All right, lastly, we're gonna get into the distance drivers. I have 5 of these. I have 4 Forces. First up is the Nuke OS, though. This disc is been awesome for me early in the season. It's been a little windy, so I mainly use this for the sidearms. I like to throw them really low with a little anhyzer and just watch them do its thing. Very stable. Would highly recommend to have one of these in the bag. Next up is the Z-Force. This is one of the very early runs of the Force. Very pop top and very, very stable. I like to throw this disc really hard with a little anhyzer and just let it pan out and land with hyzer. Next up is the Z-Force. This one's interesting. It's got the Eric McCabe stamp on it. I believe it was his disc, but this disc is perfect for this is my sidearm disc. I like to throw it really low with a little anhyzer to flat, and it will always finish to the right. So this disc is one of my main go-to drivers for sidearms. Next up is a Z-Force. It's a newer run of the Z-Force. It's got like a really pearly bottom here. Very overstable. This disc will be used a lot for just hyzers and just flat shots that need to finish left. And now lastly is the ESP Force. This is my go-to for distance shots for sidearm and backhand. Like to throw it flat and just let it turn, and it always finishes left. But yeah, this is my go-to for my distance shots. And that is all that's in my bag. If you would like to check out any of these discs, go to discraft.com. If you have any questions and see me on the course, then yeah, come up and ask. Thank you.
Here is the right height and getting it wide enough to make this fairway a bit bigger, which she does. And this is really impressive.
Wow, that was.
To be able to have a touch sidearm like that, to be
Ooh. And there we go. Oh, beautiful.
leans on it quite often.
Oh yeah.
It's just a tough shot right here. And then who knows, even if she beats these two, if she's gonna have, which she completely yanks that, and that's not gonna be good.
Oh, what? What? Wow. Takes this, of course.
30 foot. Right in the... And Paige is taking a bit more time here.
Mm-hmm. She is. And nails it. And she does.
And this is a little bit more what we're looking for. Oh, get it.
Whoa.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 2019 Discraft Great Lakes Open, presented by Discraft. I'm Paul Ulibarri, joined by Marty Copley, and we're giving you live coverage of the FPO lead card.
Yep. You got Paige Pierce sitting in the lead, 8 under.
Mm-hmm.
And she got a commanding lead over Sarah and Katrina, both 1 down,
Okay.
7 strokes behind her. And Lisa Fakis hanging around in 4th, even par.
Right, and you can't help but think that lead might be a little bit too much for the rest of the field. They're going to have to score early, the rest of them, in order to catch Paige, obviously. But I think we're going to be focusing maybe on that second place race throughout the day. So let's get right to the action.
You're now ready for our feature card. Gene first. From Plano, Texas, Paige Pierce.
This hole sits at 477 feet. Slight turnover down the hill. You can see Paige. She gets that a bit. She turns that over a bit too much and is going to be a little bit short, but definitely not in any sort of trouble. Seeing Sarah play this hole before, I think with a perfect shot, we're looking at 60 feet or so.
Agreed.
But she does put that one directly in the fairway, so.
Good shot, good save. And they're definitely staying away from that new OB that they added this year on the left-hand side.
And I do like this shot. She almost makes it out of the tall grass. She's going to be in a similar spot as Paige is. Lisa making her featured card debut today. Shooting a -2 yesterday on the course, which was, I believe, tied for the second best round of the day.
Disc golf is a relatively young sport, but its popularity makes it one of the fastest growing pastimes in the world. The PDGA is a not-for-profit, worldwide player organization dedicated to promoting the sport. Like a long drive off the tee, disc golf is soaring. So don't just be a witness to disc golf's explosive growth, be a part of it. Join the PDGA.
I practice a lot. It's a vice. An escape from stress, from work. It's my chance to just get away during the week. It's like meeting up with an old friend, you know? I'll never get tired of that sound.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
What do you think flatness and stiffness on this?
Somewhat flat.
Lisa lining up her upshot, going with the sidearms, got that a bit too high. And that's going to be tricky from there. She's going to be right at circle's edge in that bunker on the right. And if you're joining us for the first time through this weekend, you'll notice that once you get off the fairway of this toboggan course, the rough is treacherous. Yep. It's deep, it's thick.
The rough is definitely rough.
Yeah, it just kind of hems you up. It's not like a lot of other rough to where you get in there and there's different routes you might be able to throw through, you know, gaps. It literally handcuffs you to the fact to where almost pitching straight out is the only option.
We saw that several times yesterday.
So Katrina just saw Lisa throw the sidearm a bit early into the rough. I'm sure she'll make that correction and nice follow through. Yeah, that's perfect. And in order for one of these women to make a push for this tournament, I mean, Paige is 7 strokes ahead of the field right now. They're going to have to score early.
Yes.
And then they're going to have to score often after that. So they have a long ways to go. I think, Lisa in her post-round interview yesterday was talking about how she just needs to stick to her game plan. I think that's what they're all going to be trying to do today. I don't think they're even focused on trying to catch her at this point. Paige, that is.
Sarah makes a nice upshot. Sticking to the game plan, yeah, like you mentioned, is extremely smart. And it's going to require, to be honest, that Paige is going to have to help them out. If she slides a little bit, it may give them a chance to take advantage of that slide.
And this whole field has a lot to play for. I mean, as we look at the leaderboard, even this early, we see there is 9 competitors within 6 strokes of each other. And on this course, we see strokes being giving up left and right. I mean, we see Lisa, with a mistake early here. And in order for her to save this, it's going to take an incredible putt. So,
Yep. Like we mentioned yesterday, it's a course of 1,000 cuts. Wow.
And that's the way you started off, saving the par, Lisa from the woods. And as you can see, she finds this opening, nice follow through, and that's just good stuff.
Love to see that. Great start for her.
Hole 2, 415 foot. This one's straight uphill. See the tee pad on the left here as the drone flies by. And obviously, I think the most important part of this hole is landing directly in the middle of this fairway. You can see the rough to the left, the rough to the right. If you get off this fairway, that's when, you can have troubles. And in past rounds, we've seen everybody who's landed in the fairway really score well and get the birdies, and anybody who's been kind of off to the left, very tough to save even your par. We've seen sidearm rollers out of there. We've seen turnovers. We've seen, just kind of pitch straight out. So the rough on this hole is the first time we're seeing the teeth on this course.
Right. It's playing as the 15th most difficult, just averaging slightly over par. Then we've seen about 20% of the field birdie it.
Okay. And there's some, heading into this round, they actually moved the tee times up 30.
Yes.
Or back 30 minutes. So there was some weather that they were looking on the radar that could possibly come in later in the day, and they wanted to make sure that everybody got through the course and got done with their round today. So they are up a bit earlier. So, maybe a little bit of dew on the ground, a little cooler, extra half hour of sleep is sometimes really important. So.
Yes, it is. Great shot from Paige.
Yeah, and that's going to only leave her about 100 feet into that green.
And Sarah puts herself right in the middle of the fairway. Should be in good position for her upshot and birdie chance.
And we saw a similar shot from Katrina yesterday where she turned it over a bit to that right side. But she was able to, I believe, get up and down for birdie. So
yes,
she's been in that situation before, and you can't help but think maybe that's her play is push it to the right side, open up the fairway so she can throw a turnover. Lisa gets off the fairway a little bit as well, gets a nice kick to the left.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdied, my friends.
What do you think, flatness and stiffness on this?
Somewhat flat, neutral stiffness. This is a good disc right here.
Got it. 2 more.
Danny, this is a sick one.
Dude, I gotta get through all these today.
Cheers to a good day, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's good.
It's a hard day.
That's great.
So looks like Lisa's going to be first up to throw. She gets herself up there outside circle 2.
She's already hit a nice putt on the first hole, and now she's left with about 40 to 45 feet into this pin. One thing she is well known for is being one of the best, if not the best, putter on tour.
Wow. We definitely saw that on hole 1 from her.
And that comes up a bit short. I'm sure she wanted to aim a little bit higher, get a little closer, but she's going to have, about 30 feet right there. And that'll be a good putt to see where she's at mentally, to see where she's at in this round. It's always nice to have some sort of putt, within the first 3 holes, kind of tap in, see, what kind of zone you are in for that round.
And we've seen Katrina be a little shaky inside the circle this tournament. As we see a great shot from Sarah. It's a little roll away, but that should be fine for her. Sarah has been perfect inside the circle this tournament, putting in 100%. So she's first in the tournament, and she's also first in scramble rate.
I wonder what that's like being perfect in the circle. Someday.
Yes.
Someday we can dream, Marty.
Maybe she can give us some lessons.
Gets a nice little kick out right there, and that should be about 15, 20 feet for birdie. And looking at those statistics, we see Paige Pierce being first in fairways hits, first in park jobs, first in circle 1 in regulation, first in circle 2 regulation, first in birdie percentage, and then she's 11th in scrambles, 16th in circle 1 putting, and 9th in circle 2 putting. So she's displaying why she's leading this tournament with off the tee.
Right, right.
Throwing the disc better than everybody. Lisa being a bit outside her comfort range, even with the skills that she has with the putter, missing it a bit to the right. Hard to get it up.
Yeah.
At that point, you know, that's playing at probably about 80 foot of putt right there with the elevation change.
Right. We got the uphill elevation and the elevated basket to deal with on that one. Great putt from Kat.
Yep, gets it over the rim. That's going to be a nice birdie. And like I said before, that's a nice little filler putt. That putt could very well put her in the zone.
Yes. Yep.
When you know you can hit putts from right around circle's edge or just inside, it really can give you confidence and take pressure off of your driving, off of your up shots. Which this whole card has plenty of skills to shoot some very hot rounds.
Right.
But I think if anybody's even going to scare Paige in any sort of way this round, I think it's going to be Katrina.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
Hole 3, 590 feet, 64 feet of elevation change from the tee, then 12 feet of elevation change once you get down to this fairway. So there's a lot of up and down on this course, and we see that even on the first 3 holes, down, up, down. Once you land, these women are going to try to land right around here. Once you land here, they're going to play kind of a blind shot because of the hill into this green. This is playing as the 4th most difficult hole on so far today, as we see averaging just a bit over par. 3 birdies on the day from the field, so it is one of the tougher gets. But I say that as we go through almost every hole and we look at how many birdies are on that hole. Seems like we're not seeing a lot on this course. Very difficult course to where par is a good score on most of these holes.
Right. Yeah, you've only seen the pars from Madison Walker, Holly Finley, and Courtney Cannon.
I feel like if Paige can get to right around 11 to 12 down, that has to be a very, very safe number. It would take the rest of the field almost having to dip into that double-digit category in this round, which is really tough, especially with the distance that this course has on the back 9.
Yeah. And Paige shot the hot round day 1 and day 2. So it's going to take an extreme effort to catch her if she does that, for sure.
Yeah, and those hot rounds were not only, but that was a 4 under par score. Scoring early is going to be very important on this course. We've seen most of the holes that the field is birdieing is early. We've seen a few times from these women, somebody go 3 through 5, 4 through 5. Even on the first round, we saw Paige go 4 through 4. But once they get to that 4 to 5 under mark, we see on the back nine them kind of leak those strokes back to the course.
Yep.
Yesterday, we saw an incredible back nine from Paige birdieing. I believe it was 4 out of the last 6 holes.
Yep. She had 7 birdies on the day.
And that is just an absolute crush from Paige Pierce. I'm waiting for it to land before the rough or just into the rough, and it almost clears the rough into, right around 80 feet or something. She's going to be about 120 feet from the hole.
Wow. It just kept going. I mean, she had so much spin on that disc. I mean, Paige's form is phenomenal. I mean, she is a small girl, but generates so much power.
And here's Sarah. Right in the middle of the fairway. Very good shot from Sarah. And Katrina's been going mid-range off the tee here, just to have a lot of control. Put it in the fairway, knowing she has all the distance in the world. She doesn't need to overpower this hole at all. And that's a perfect shot. The tricky thing about where she did land, though, is she landed on the right side of the fairway, which if she wanted to throw stable into that hole backhand, it kind of pushes it into you having to throw more of a straight shot because you can't get it wide and uphill. So if there were to be a miss from her from where she is, I think it would be early left.
Okay. And also in that position, I mean, with that elevation, it's kind of tough to see the basket from there. So you are shooting blind. So we're going to that orange disc that we saw her work her magic with yesterday.
She puts that at about 20 feet, and we've seen her through this weekend not miss any of those.
Nope.
100% in circle 1 so far. As you see Lisa kind of track backwards so that she can get a good look at where this pin is, even from where she is being further back than Paige and Katrina, she still can't see the basket. And this one's going to be a bit early and left. Right at circle's edge, though. And Katrina opts for the putter there. Throws it fairly well. I think she'd like to be a little bit closer. She's going to be sitting at that same area as Lisa is. So we're going to have a putt off between the two.
Yeah. And, Sarah and Katrina are definitely battling for that number 2 position, both 2 down.
And you really want to score early here. I know we've said that before, but it's nice to get a little, and Paige can actually see the basket from where she threw that drive, but it'd be nice to get a few, birdies early, pad the score a bit, get a feeling for the round. Do you think Katrina's thinking, okay, I just need to secure second place, or do you think she's thinking, if I can get a few early, maybe I can make a run at this championship? And even there gets to a point where you have to, come to terms with reality.
Right.
And when do you think that will be this round?
I'd say somewhere halfway through, depending on how Paige plays. But based on what we've seen so far, I don't think she's going to be giving anything up.
Or do you think that she has the mindset of, I only care about first place. I don't care about second. I'm going to push till the very end for that.
Valid question. I think if I was Katrina, I would be focusing on my game. Things out of my control, I can't control. Wow.
And she is so good at putting.
You can see why she earns that name. Wow.
Let's get a nice Zuka replay. I like the rhythm going forward. Her body pushing forward in that putt is the same speed as her actual arm speed. So that rhythm going forward is just so consistent.
Katrina's putt falls a little low. And this gives Sarah a chance to take sole possession of second place.
Yeah, that's surprising. I mean, that putt didn't even get to the pin.
Yeah.
And that's circle's edge. We're not used to seeing that from Katrina. So early, we saw her make the putt on the last hole. From about circle's edge, and then on this one doesn't even get it to the pin. So that's going to be something we're going to need to watch through this round. See if she can get that dialed, get that consistent stroke. As Sarah and Paige both make their putts for birdie, along with Lisa. And Sarah remains perfect in the circle, which is quite incredible.
Yes, it is. I'd love to see her make it all the way through, being perfect.
Good morning, out here from the basket of hole number 3. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, checking in. A few things that I've noticed that I think I can report on here for you. First of all, Lisa Fakis said that she needed to get off the tee clean on hole number 1. She did that today. She was really ecstatic, actually, with her forehand shot. Unfortunately, her approach shot came up short. She went into the woods, into the shul, one knee, and canned the long putt, and she's grinning from ear to ear. That leads me to my next point. We've had clean scorecards. No mistakes, no bogeys, just perfectly clean scorecards from all the women so far. Another thing of note, the last putt by Katrina Allen, not as confident as I've seen many of her putts this year. That's something that we're going to have to continue to watch. I don't know if she's feeling a little of that pressure. We saw Lisa Fakis make from just a few feet outside of her. Now we'll have to see if maybe Katrina's already thinking about, can she hold on to that second or third place position? If someone like Lisa gets really hot, or Sarah Holcomb continues to put in good putts, that's definitely going to challenge those podium spots. So that's what we want to keep our eye on. Right now it looks like Paige Pierce is continuing to be in the driver's seat. All 3 holes so far, she's had the furthest drive. Really, maybe you're not too surprised by that, but she has put a crush on holes 2 and 3. There's just no woman in the field that can keep up with her when she's throwing that far. We're going to check in with you in a few holes. Let's get back to the action right here with the FPO final day at the Discraft Great Lakes Open.
Thank you, Terry, for that update. Terry's looking pretty good out there.
Yes, he is.
He is, you know. It is early out there, but he must have got up extra early. His hair's looking good. He's got the nice tee.
As always.
We really appreciate the update, Terry, and he's making some very valid points. A lot of good putting so far, and then we see Katrina not get that putt to the pin, but the good thing about something like that, where you miss significantly a certain way, that's an easy mistake to correct.
Yeah.
You know, and let's see if she can do that moving forward as Paige lines up this hyzer. She turns this over. And, you know, I can't help but think that maybe that was almost accidental right there.
Yeah.
But that was absolutely perfect. She's in the perfect spot. She flexes all the way around that pine tree, and you can't draw it up any better than that. We saw yesterday her kind of go to that left side and throw kind of a flippy disc through there.
Yes. This hole is playing as the second most difficult, too. There's been only one birdie on it. Sarah DeMar has been the only birdie. And that was from Circle's Edge, too.
And this also looks fantastic. I'm curious to see what she's going to do from there. That's going to be such a low ceiling. I don't think she'll have the height to be able to push towards that pin. So curious to see if she kind of just lays it up, if she tries to do like maybe some heroics, like a sidearm roller or something to that nature.
Which we did see from her yesterday.
And from there, I can't help but think that she's taken birdie kind of out of the question.
Yep.
I mean, those trees directly in between her disc and the basket, it's going to be hard to navigate through there to even get a look. And I like the cut angle. If it can sneak out, and it does, she's going to be wide open from there. Yesterday, we saw her get a bit unlucky with a very good angle. And this time she puts enough cut on it, gets into the rough, gets out to the middle of the fairway, and she's going to be looking perfect from there.
Yep, hopefully she can get that stroke back from Sarah.
The 2019 United States Amateur Match Play Championship continues with our doubles bracket. Local doubles qualifier match play brackets will be held throughout the United States and Canada through July and August. The championship bracket will be hosted in Emporia, Kansas on September 27th through the 29th. In the Players Pack, each player on the teams will receive a Dynamic Disc Biofusion Raider and a Latitude 64 Gold Burst Pioneer. Make sure you go to discgolfmatchplay.com for more information for the tournament directors and for the players. We can't wait to see you out here in Emporia, Kansas for the championships.
Lisa's going to have to throw a slight turnover. And if she can do that, this is a very narrow gap to the left. If she can throw a slight turnover and then hit that dirt patch right there, she can get a nice skip up there, and that is so good.
Wow, great
I can't
effort.
even tell you how good that is. I thought that from her tee shot, from the angle that we saw on the tee pad, that birdie was just out of the question, and she puts that one well inside the circle.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she had the shortest drive, but I'm willing to bet she might have the shortest putt as well.
Sarah has a similar lie as Lisa did, just kind of opposite. So Sarah had to throw turnover for her predominant throw. Sarah has to throw the same for hers. Right to left, and this one will be, or pardon me, left to right, and this one will be right to left. She needs to beat that tree. I don't know if she does. She'll be right around circle's edge, depending on where that kicked. Disappointed for sure. And these tee shots were very deceiving. I mean, they got way in front of those trees.
They sure did. Trina's in a great shot. Put herself in there for birdie and give her a chance to get a stroke back on Sarah.
One of the things that has been very
does.
impressive about Katrina this weekend that we've seen so far is her sidearm's been so accurate. We saw her yesterday in a few spots to where she was scrambling and she relied on that sidearm. And not only did she get out of trouble, but she was putting them within 10, 15 feet of the basket as we see her do that again. It must be something that she's been working very hard. Maybe in this off season coming in, she's relying more on the sidearm.
Right. You're seeing more and more in the game players that are predominant sidearm or predominant backhand really working on their weaknesses and making them less of a weakness. And to be competitive, you have to do that in today's sport. Paige gets up there right around Lisa's disc.
One thing that we should point out is on the last 3 par 4s, Paige has had under 150 foot into each one of those holes on her approach. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And that makes scoring so easy.
Yeah, that distance is an excellent weapon to have in your bag.
Not only does she have distance, but she's throwing it exactly where she wants. She has the accuracy to go with it. I mean, looks like Sarah's trying to decide what she wants to do. Does she want to run it? Does she want to lay it up? Having that mental battle probably with herself.
Yes, and now she's just outside the circle. Asking for it to sit, and it looks like it listened. A nice birdie from Katrina.
Also, very nice birdie from Lisa. She will move to 2 under par. Katrina moves to 3 under par. Paige moves to 11 under par with 3 birdies in a row.
Nice turkey. Yesterday we saw plenty of turkeys on the cards and a turkey on the course.
Yeah, we did. These guys. Hole 5, 300 feet, tightest hole on the course. You'll want to play a shot from left to right up this hill, so the height and the angle that you throw the disc on is very, very important. If you do all of those things correctly, then you kind of have to either split to this side of these trees or the right side of these trees, then get a bit lucky through this area. And if you can do all those things, you might be able to get a look from about circle's edge. Yesterday, we saw from all of our coverage, a couple people get through, but for the most part, this has been one of the tougher gets on the course as far as birdie goes.
You're absolutely right. We've only seen 2 birdies. One coming from Kona Starpanis and the other from Lauren Butler. It's playing slightly over par. And the 7th most difficult.
We saw yesterday Paige kind of leak it left a little bit, put her in a tough spot, and then she had to play the scramble game to get up and down, which she was able to do. But let's see if she can make the correction here. The trick is there is that white aspen that's kind of in the way on the right-hand side, as you see there. And that one is the one that kind of pushes you left.
It caught a lot of players that we saw yesterday. And she beats it.
Love it. Oh, and that was going so perfectly. But like I said, you can do all the things perfectly and still catch a late tree. She'll be sitting at about 45 to 50, 60 feet there. Lisa puts it to about 80 feet, doesn't hit a tree. She'll be happy with that. And that shot was a little bit too straight. Didn't look like it really kicked left or right. Might have got stuck in that pine. But anytime you don't get up this hill onto the flat, it's going to make it that much more tricky. And then to top it off, you'll have to deal with this hillside, which usually means you'll have to throw some sort of nose up shot. And that's always a little bit tougher when you're scrambling.
Yes, it is. As we see Sarah make a nice shot, but unfortunately hit a late tree.
Katrina's put herself in a tough spot here, a little bit short of that gap. She's gone to a knee and she's opting for the sidearm, which she has been able to throw pretty well thus far, and catches a high branch there, kind of knocks her down. So she's going to have, I would say, 50 feet in there to save her par. And even though this hole is as short as it is, it still plays as one of the trickier holes on the course. We see almost every card, our average score is maybe a birdie, maybe, and then sprinkled in there is a couple bogeys. So it definitely has some teeth.
Yep, it is a tough 300-foot hole. As we see a great upshot from Sarah.
Even from there, it wasn't easy. You saw she had like 3 gaps she could hit, and out of her hand, I'm not sure if she was even 100% whether she was going to beat those trees or not. Let's see if Lisa can give this one a scare. Pulls it a little bit. Gets through there. She'll make easy work from there, but unfortunately that's going to be for bogey, and she'll drop a shot to go to 2 under, which will be a tie with Lisa now, and Holcomb will remain at 3 under. Page unable to connect from about 45 feet, but no harm, no foul. Nobody else is really threatening for birdie on this hole, so not losing any.
It's a nice position to be in for Paige.
That's one thing, even in my career, that I struggled with a bit. When I would take a lead, it was hard to, push past that 4 to 5 stroke lead.
Yep.
It's one thing that I admire about the great players is they're able to, once they get the lead, a lot of times you'll see, like a Paige, Katrina, Macbeth, Ricky, they're able to push away and win by sometimes, 6, 7, 8, 9 strokes.
Yep.
And that, obviously, if you're the best player, you would think is pretty easy, but it's tough to pull away from the field like that.
Sure, it is. And the question is, do you keep your foot on the gas or do you try to play a little smarter?
Right. Hole 6, 540 foot of distance. The tricky part about this one is it's mandatory down the fairway. You have to be to the right of it. As you can see, this tree to the left, that will be our mandatory tree. So as long as you can throw it to somewhere right around here, you'll be able to manufacture some sort of shot into this green, which is actually perched up on this hillside. In previous rounds, we've seen a lot of shots really challenge that mandatory tree.
Yes. Yep. And it's playing as the sixth most difficult, averaging 4.44. And we've only seen one birdie, and that is by our leader, Paige.
Wow, that's an interesting set. So through the, oh no, that's
Bierkus. Oh, Bierkus, my bad.
So as we look at this, as we look at the scorecard, or the scoreboard, pardon me, we do see a couple under par rounds from obviously our featured card, but as we move down the leaderboard, it seems like getting to that 1 under, to that even mark, has been kind of the catalyst for this course. If you can get to that, you're going to move up. We saw Lisa with just a 2 under yesterday, able to make her way up to this featured card. So for the rest of the field, that's what we're going to look for. If they can get to that 1 under, I'm sure they're going to be kind of sniffing that top 4 podium position. Obviously, we see Paige 3 through 5. We kind of expected that. Sarah playing well, Lisa playing well. The battle for second is still looming around, and I think that's what we're going to be focused on for the rest of this tournament.
Yep, there is 3-4 players battling for that second position. Jessica Weiss is having a strong round, along with Madison.
Yeah, and there's a lot on the table for them. I mean, the Pro Tour also has a points race for the end of the year. We'll see them jockeying for that position. A lot of pressure still on the table for these women moving forward. From Paige, I would like to be entertained and see if she can push to that 7-8 under mark, which she is on pace for, and seemingly with no pressure. Let's see if she's able to kind of tap into that zone. We've seen her tap in before and push possibly a course record here.
Yep, which she owns, and she can break her own.
Yeah, and at this point, you have to think that's what she's going to be trying to do. I mean, she's pulled away from the field now. It's probably her own goals that she has to, compete with. As we see Madison Walker in the fairway. And we're going to have 2 birdies now on the hole.
Nice.
As she's putting that one very close. And that'll be a short putt for birdie. So Madison kind of making a small push here as well, being even par. And now with that birdie, we'll move to 1 under on the tournament.
What's your favorite tattoo that you have?
As we look down the leaderboard a bit further, there are some nice scores being played even out of the top 10 right now, as we see Sandy Hendel is 1 under through 7 holes, so a very good score there. Elizabeth Carr-Siping, who we got to see in the first round, is also 1 under through 7, and Paige Bierkus 1 under through 6.
favorite tattoo is this one. Smiling one. It's my favorite.
I can't help but think that if Paige really lays into this drive, I'm wondering if she could challenge that circle too. With how far she's been throwing and the way this hole kind of lines up, it kind of does line up for that flight she's been throwing with slight turnover. And she rips this one. If she can get down this hill with a nice skip, I mean, almost, honestly.
Wow.
I think that's a bit, maybe I was being a bit optimistic about getting the circle too, but I mean, you can't walk up and place that one any better.
No. Great shot from Paige. She's been phenomenal off the tee today.
Lisa turns that over a little bit too much, but it looks like it got a semi-good kick off of that branch. Now it's just depending on how low those branches are and if she's going to have a run-up. And even if she does have a run-up from that area, that's still a very long shot into the green.
It is. It is. Fortunately, obviously, she made the Mando. And like I said, I think that was a good tree kick for her.
This needs to get down. And she's off the fairway a bit. That's going to take birdie out of the equation for Sarah. And this has been a semi-stable disc for Katrina. She's going to really have to focus on angle control on this one. And that's perfect. I like how she got it over and then kind of forced it to push down that fairway, flipping up and then right in the middle.
If you guys like the H3 V2, but maybe you're looking for just a little bit more flip up and glide, the H4 V2 is going to be your disc. I'm absolutely loving it, and it filled a spot in my bag immediately.
Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag. Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag.
And Lisa's going to be first up to throw. She does have a tough run up. She's trying to. Oh.
We've seen a few players go to that left side and end up down into those high bushes, and it can be pretty tough down there. Let's see if she can catch a good lie. The one thing is, the further left you go down the hill, the more that those bushes are going to come into play, and it didn't look like she really got that far down there, so And another good thing is she is inside probably about 100, 150 feet. So see if she can make quick work from there. Sarah has a very tough lie. She's going to have to straddle out to get to her preferred shot, which is the sidearm.
You're weighing her options here. You can kind of looking at it, look like a little forehand roller possibly.
And I actually like this play if she is going to go forehand roller, because she's far enough up the fairway to where even if this forehand roller goes awry, let's say, you know, it turns over and goes left or cuts too far right, she's far enough up the fairway to even a mistake like that, she should be able to get up and down. So why not play aggressive? You know,
Sure.
if she throws it perfectly, I mean, you're looking at circle 2 or maybe even a little bit better. And we have seen her go to the sidearm roller in the previous rounds. And frankly, she's been throwing it very, very well. Looks like that one was, you know, pretty good. She made her way up the fairway. It did end up a bit right, which we'll have to see. It didn't look like it went too far off the fairway.
Nope.
So.
Nope. And we did see that excellent scramble from her yesterday when she did that forehand roller from a very tough position and rolled it right under the basket.
That's a good shot from Katrina. She makes circle 1. She was seemingly in a perfect spot, and that's a quality shot from there. Paige is consistently out driving the card by 50 to 100 feet on every single hole. I mean, we've seen a lot of action from the FPO division, and this might be the best I've seen Paige off the tee. So far, she hasn't had an approach outside of 200 foot into these par 4s.
Right, right. Makes life easy, and she's looking to go 4 down here through 6.
And Sarah did get a little bit of cut right on that forehand roller, and she did put herself in a pretty tricky spot. I mean, she's looking at a gap might be 2 foot wide.
Wow, and she's got those weeds to deal with, especially with her preferred low release.
She gets through that gap up into circle's edge.
Yep, and the crowd likes it.
And if she's inside the circle, I mean, so far that's been a guarantee, as she's 100% in the circle.
Nice. Looks like we got a nice little gallery out there this morning.
Looks like they've located Lisa's second shot down the hill left. Want to thank a few of our sponsors, Discraft, who have been sponsoring this tournament for how many years did you say?
Ooh, good question. I think it was 1992 when they first started it. Yes, back when it was the Weenie Memorial.
The Weenie Memorial.
Before it became the Great Lakes Open.
Yeah. So.
After Weenie was a hamster.
Oh.
Interesting enough, that passed away.
Oh. R.I.P. Also, thank you to UDisc. Thank you to Savage Apparel. Infinite Discs. I've seen some of those banners out there. Grip 6. Just to mention a few. I can't mention all of them off the top of my head, but as we go through this course, they've done a very good job of placing these banners. And if you keep your eye out there, you'll be able to see all the awesome sponsors and go out, support them, grab some swag. Let's keep disc golf moving in the right direction. See if Holcomb can stay perfect. That's too low. Man, you just got the feeling that you keep landing at circle's edge. Eventually, it's going to catch up with you.
Yes, it is.
Although I would have liked to see her go perfect through this final round, which is very rare to do.
Yeah.
I can only think of a few times in my own career that I've been able to go perfect in the circle through a whole tournament.
Wow.
Speaking of perfect, Lisa has been perfect inside the circle so far today. That one's able to grab her and pull her into the basket.
Good catch.
Remain perfect. Good putt there from Katrina. It's like you don't know what you're going to get from her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had a couple putts that just kind of come out of nowhere, and you're just not used to that. And then you have a couple putts that are just look very confident and directly on the pole. And I think that's a product of her kind of changing her putt this year and working through the motions. And, you know, once she gets through maybe even a couple seasons of this new putt, we can see that get a lot better.
6 holes. Not too much to update other than that we're seeing some really good play. I know that earlier we talked a little bit about Katrina's putting stroke. Well, it looks like holes 4, 5, and 6, very confident. I think she seems to be back on point, so that doesn't appear to be any kind of a problem. I did check in with Sarah Holcomb's caddy briefly, Robin. I said, Robin, you got any good updates for me? He said, Paige is killing it. So I guess we know what's going on out here. We see her continue to rack up the birdies. Also, keep an eye on Madison Walker. It looks like she's racking up a few of the birdies herself. We'll see if she can make a push. We saw her on the lead card yesterday. She struggled a little bit. We'll see if she can make her move onto a podium spot as well as we continue on. We're through a third of the course during our final round. We'll send it back to you guys in the booth. We'll check in with you after hole 9.
Thank you, Terry. And Terry and I are kind of on the same page with Katrina's putt. I want to touch base on that a little bit. Is we've seen this new stroke, and when she's making those, she's throwing these phenomenal rounds. When she's not, that seems a little bit shaky at points. This tournament hasn't been as consistent as, let's say, like Ledgestone the prior week or 2 weeks ago. But as she moves through tournaments and getting that confidence back, I can only imagine she's going to get more consistent with that. And if she's able to get more consistent, that I think we'll be seeing tighter battles, and maybe she'll be able to pull herself away from the field, because it looks like that might be the key ingredient in her success moving forward through this season, is if she can make those in the circle putts, couple outside of the circle putts. We've seen her be accurate off the tee, but haven't really seen her, you know, have too many hiccups, even that sidearms coming around. So, and Terry did point out that Madison Walker is actually 2 under through 7 holes, so we'll keep an eye on that as well as we get back to hole preview. Actually, let's get back to the action. Here's Paige. And we've seen Paige throw putter off the tee here, and now she is actually going to probably have her furthest shot into one of the greens. And this is a par 3. So this is going to playing as the 4th most difficult hole, but I can't help but think that there's going to be no birdies on this hole.
Yeah, par is a very good score on this hole. You're stroking about 45% of the field by getting par.
And it looked like Katrina might have leaked that one out of bounds. So we'll keep an eye on that. It was pretty close. There's been no birdies on this one on the weekend. And Lisa hits the pine tree. That's really the bunker tree. If you can get it anywhere past that tree, you're going to have a semi-easy upshot. She hits it, she ends up underneath it, and that's going to be tricky to have the power to get up the hill to save par. Sarah's going to have the same problem, but she actually gets to the front of the tree. She'll have a sidearm into the green. I think she'll be fine from there.
I think so too.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Wear what the pros that film the pros wear. Savage Pro Tour apparel. Full body dye sub technology. Sweat wicking polyester. Lightweight Cirrus jersey. Made in the USA. Are you savage? Wear what the pros that film the pros wear. Get yours today.
Lisa lining up her shot. Thank you, Savage Apparel, for decking me out in some nice shirts this weekend. I really appreciate it, keeping me comfortable in the booth. As Lisa lines up this sidearm. And that's a good result from there.
That is.
She's going to put herself in at about 25 foot to save par. She has been perfect so far in the circle, and that's going to test that a little bit. And that's the first mistake we've really seen from Paige. We saw her throw the sidearm on hole 2 for her approach, and we did see that one leak a bit right as well. And it seems like that's the thing that she's, that's her miss right now with her sidearm, is a little bit right, maybe not getting that full follow through as we get a good look at Katrina Allen's drive right here, and that does appear to be out of bounds. So she'll need to get this one up and down to take a bogey, which will drop her back down to 2 under par. And if Lisa and Holcomb are able to make their par putts, we'll have a 3-way tie for second, well, a 4-way tie for second place, with Madison being able to get to that 2 under mark as well from the second card.
Yep.
And that is a good approach.
Looks like Paige is right at circle's edge. She's got that uphill putt, and we know she's going to be running this. And she does. Great save.
Let's get a replay on this one. This is nice. Watch how she extends that arm. She puts so much velocity on that putt. That's what makes her so dangerous from distance, is the arm speed is very quick.
And you can tell from her body language and everything, she was totally committed to that putt.
Lisa able to remain perfect in the circle.
Ooh.
And after Sarah was able to remain perfect in the first few rounds in the circle, we see her miss her first 2 putts, and they just so happen to be back to back, and that one's going to cost her another bogey.
Yeah. And that's really the first mistake that we've seen her make inside the circle. The other one was a very tough putt, circle's edge.
So a couple bogeys, a couple pars. Really good putt from Paige. Moving on to hole 8. This one's a blind shot, Marty. It's going to be going from right to left. We've seen our featured cards kind of struggle on this one a bit. We haven't seen any birdies so far. We saw yesterday the closest drive being about, I think they did make it into the circle. I think it was Madison Walker. She wasn't able to convert, but it's doable. As you can see, if you can get anywhere into this shadow area, it'll give you a look. Paige actually went deep on this hole yesterday. And then the big miss that I've seen so far is left. And once they get left, then it's a tough scramble from there.
Yep.
So let's see if they can flatten out their drives, get the right height, get that push to the left, maybe give themselves a look. And I think Sarah has the tough challenge of turning that sidearm over in a way the way that pushes into there. That takes an extremely skilled shot, which we know she has. She hasn't been able to do it so far.
Yep.
But let's see if she can make the correction, especially after going back-to-back bogeys.
Yeah, and this one is playing as the 4th most difficult, and par, again, is a great score on this hole. You'll be stroking half the field if you can shoot par.
As we see a disc come out from behind that tree. Miss Woodboom. here is Holly Finley lining up her putt. She's sitting at 1 over par for the round. She's unable to connect from circle's edge as the rest of the card mates make their way up the hill. Let's see if Madison Walker is able to remain at 2 under par and keep pushing her name up the leaderboard. Good putt. Jessica Weiss is getting into position for her tap in. I wouldn't say this is a tap in. This good 15-footer. And our featured card making sure that the gallery for the second card clears the fairway so that everybody's safe, and they give Paige the okay. I believe there are a couple spotters down there helping out. Paige went a bit deep yesterday. Let's see if she can make the correction and push this one a little bit further left. Distance is no problem for her with this shot. And this one's a bit wide. And that'll leave her an alleyway into the green, but that is around 90 foot. I can't help but think that Lisa needs to get all of this one in order to push circle's edge. Also landing about 80 feet away from the basket. And that one might be in a similar position as we saw Madison end up yesterday, which is right at circle's edge.
Yep, she'll have a chance at that one. Sarah gets this one to turn over.
Looks like it landed in the high grass.
Looks like we got Mr. Dodge out there spotting for us.
Poison ivy ruins the best day outdoors.
Honey, careful. I saw poison ivy.
The rash is ugly, itchy, and spreads quickly. Zanfal's your answer. Skip nutty remedies and expensive visits to urgent care. When you get poison ivy, get Zanfal. No side effects. Safe for kids. Zanfal washes away the toxin that causes the itching rash. Complete relief. Zanfal lets the healing begin. Got poison ivy? Get Zanfal. It works.
And Lisa does have a straight on look at this basket. See if she opts for the jump putt layup or if she tries to get, no, she tries to throw this one in. So this could have a chance. Oh, right over the top.
Wow.
Gosh, she has a knack for scaring the basket outside the circle.
She does. Wow. Great run.
Let's see if Paige remains aggressive. She does have a look at the basket, but it is a tight window, as you can see here. Wasting no time. And that's going to go to circle's edge. It looks like she might be right on the circle's line or just outside the circle. We saw on the previous hole her land about 3 feet outside the circle and make quick work of it. And that's going to be our first mistake we've seen from Paige. Missing a bit high up the hill there. And that's going to be a bogey. So we see a blemish on her card.
Katrina's drives put her in a good position to try to get a stroke back and take sole possession of second place.
And we've seen, one thing I want to point out is we've seen in both coverages throughout the year, the best players, it seems like even when they struggle, they're still putting together good rounds.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem like Katrina's going on all cylinders right now. But the one thing we are seeing is she is in second place.
Yeah.
And Paige being able to pull herself away from the field. That's just what the great players do.
Mm-hmm.
The great players are still able, even when they're struggling, to maintain a solid position in the tournament.
Yep.
And we're seeing that with Macbeth as well. As we watch the coverage, it doesn't seem like he's kind of kicking on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it seems like he's struggling, but then he's in second place, 2 back of the lead. So we're seeing that with Katrina here as well. I think there is no debate that Paige and Katrina are the 2 best in the world right now.
Agreed.
And even with the struggle, she is in second place.
Yeah. And most of us can only wish that our struggling round put us at that level.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we go from one tough hole to the next, which is hole 9, 452 feet up this hill. Through this small gap, if you have the power, you might be able to sneak one just past this tree on the left. And if you have the extreme power, maybe into this area somewhere. But that's a bunch of ifs. I don't think we've seen anybody even sniff the circle on this one yet.
We haven't. It's playing as the third most difficult. And this is one that both FPO and MPO play from the same tee pad. And par, you're again stroking almost half of the field.
Lisa Fakis is actually putting together a very solid round so far. The front 9 with no blemishes.
Nope, she's clean.
We saw her interview yesterday, her say, I just want to play my game. I just want to kind of get through the round, do what I can. I'm giving up a little distance to these leaders. I want to focus on what I do really well. And so far, she has come out and done that, been able to execute her game plan, make those putts that she's so well known for. And that one's right down the middle. Not trying to do anything, special, just doing what she does. And let's see if she's going to be able to maintain that sort of consistency on this back 9, which is playing as the harder 9 of the 2. And that's a great shot from Katrina. Puts herself in a spot that it'll be very easy for her to get up and down from there.
Takes a lot of power to get up on top of that hill.
With how far Paige has been throwing the disc, I can't help but think she might be giving herself a look on this one if she can just get clean. And that one's a little bit Yankee. Gets a nice kick though. And that did have the power to get there. She hit that tree going really, really fast.
Great shot from Sarah. You know, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, she has sneaky distance with that forehand.
Oh, yeah, and it's just always so consistent. One thing about this basket is if you get to the left, kind of where everybody really did, the basket is kind of on a hillside, so you can be a little bit aggressive with your upshot and maybe try to sneak one in there, get a bonus birdie here. As we do a little scoreboard check-in, we still see, you know, our same featured card there atop the leaderboard. We do see Madison drop a stroke to now move to 1 under on the round through 9 holes. Jessica Weiss at +2 through 9. And you can't help but think maybe being the last round, there's that extra pressure.
Yes, there
and
is.
then the scores are going to usually, for the most part in the field, be a little bit higher.
Okay. Being a little bit more aggressive, trying to make up ground, and then potentially mistakes happening.
Lisa trying to figure out, man, what am I going to do here? The great debate. Looks like she's going with the sidearm. That's an awesome shot.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is make a great shot.
Me or you, sir? I'm ready.
Sarah's put herself in a good position to just throw this little skip shot, get up and down.
I said I want to hit you. Thank you.
Katrina, even an open shot, likes to do this patent pending shot on her approaches.
And able to give that one a little bit of a run.
Yeah. She does it very well. Seems to be very comfortable with that shot. And Sarah cleans up her par.
Seen her be a bit shaky from that distance on the last few holes, and that one came out smooth and right on the stripe.
Good to see her get back on after 3 bogeys in a row.
The price of giving those up shots a run is you are going to be left with a tester putt, and Katrina was left with exactly that and unable to convert from about 20 feet.
And just like you talked about earlier, you might see a little bit higher scores because of players being more aggressive, and that's a great example of it right there.
As Lisa will now be in sole possession of second place.
Welcome back after our front nine check-in here. We're seeing a few things take place where Paige Pierce said on hole number 8, she said, this is a hole I should be outscoring everybody on. It's just a Texas Spikeiser. 3 for 3 now. Paige Pierce has bogeyed hole number 8, and as she said, it's a relatively routine, pretty basic and simple hole for her, so kind of surprised to see her struggle with that all 3 rounds. If there's any improvement that she's looking for, maybe for that 2020 season, maybe she'll come out and practice hole number 8. Then she comes over to hole number 9, and apparently things are back on track and maybe even going her way. As soon as she released it, she grip locked it right. She said that needs to kick real hard left, and just like that, kicks back out so that she can get up and down from there. Again, we're continuing to watch that battle take place for what should be second place. Paige seems to be very comfortable overall, so we'll have to watch and see how second place continues to fight things out. Katrina Allen might be a little bit distracted out here today. 3 separate times now she's asked some form of media to move out of position. Maybe she feels a little bit distracted, or as if there's something that might be, well, just that, distracting her, as I'm getting distracted saying it. So we'll see how that continues to play out. Of course, we've got a good gallery out here. The heat is continuing to rise just a little bit, only a high of 80 today, which is actually would be quite the reprieve and quite comfortable from what we've seen the previous two days. Humidity is down, but the action continues to be great. We're going to catch up with them on hole 10.
Thank you, Terry, for that nice update. We've seen Paige go putter off the tee here in the previous round, and I'm surprised with this, honestly. She has the power to get up there for the birdie and just opting to throw it left, and that's very left. That's going to be tough to get up and down.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because she's such an aggressive player, and then out of nowhere she decides to lay up a seemingly, I wouldn't say this is even difficult for her. She has the power. Even if you hit one of those bunker trees, you're within, 150 foot, and you should be able to get up and down. So if I was her caddy, I would have taken that putter out of her hand and put the driver right in it and said, here you go, get after it. But then again, I haven't ever been leading a pro tour event by 9 strokes. So.
Good point. I think she knows what she's doing.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Hole 10 is planned as our most difficult hole for the girls, averaging 3.6.
We can't even see Paige in there to the left. Which, if you're off the fairway, it just swallows you up, and can't help but think that she's just going to have to be laying this one up, getting back into position to save bogey. That's a good shot from there. I mean, she gets it up to circle's edge, just outside the circle. Tough putt for par, though.
He's like in my, I can like feel him.
Lisa asking a member of the crowd to possibly stand still. It's a good shot.
Great shot.
And a few members of this card, you know, Terry mentioning a few distractions out there, and possibly Katrina asking some of the members of the media crew to get out of position, and little distractions here and there, which if you are distracted, you as a player, you have a right to move anybody.
Certainly do. And, you know, Lisa, you saw her reset a couple of times, and I think that's important. A lot of times that when we step up to that shot and we're not feeling it, stepping away and resetting it is a great way to make sure that you execute your shot. And we saw that from her. So we see Katrina make a very nice up shot. Sit down. Good disc. Wow. Paige Pierce. Let's get a Zucker replay on that one.
It's like she hears me in the booth, and she's like, you know what? You're wrong. You're wrong, Uli. And I guarantee if she was here, she would be laughing at me right now. What a save.
Trina's got some tough footing here for this putt.
Especially with her style of putt. Kind of low release, but I mean, she is close, but just a little bit uncomfortable. Lisa opting to go to a knee, get a little bit more level with the basket.
Nicely done. Just so smooth out of her hand.
Yeah, never a doubt. And that putting stroke is going to cost Katrina another bogey. Lisa's going to pull 2 clear of 3rd place.
Yep. And we end up with the tie with Sarah and Katrina in 3rd.
Hole 11, par 3, 358 feet. This one's very uphill. You're going to see them play to about right here would be a perfect shot for a couple of the competitors. And then the best case scenario is somewhere right about probably circle's edge. I think for Katrina and then Paige having a little bit more power this tournament might be able to get somewhere inside 15 to 20 feet. And I'm done saying she's not going to do something, because every time I do, she seems to surprise us with this great play. You know, looking at our coverage so far, though, Lisa sticking to that game plan. No bogeys on the card. No missed putts in the circle on the card. And she is now 2 clear of 3rd place, which is Sarah and Katrina. Katrina and Sarah both now struggling inside the circle, which is interesting because they've been so good out or inside. Well, at least Sarah, 100% coming into this round, and now has kind of lost that stroke.
Yeah, and it is amazing too. You know, typically you miss 1 or 2 that you feel you should have had, and sometimes that can creep into your head mentally and make you think a little harder about it the next time you step up for that similar putt.
I couldn't help but notice after Katrina missed that last putt, there was a cameraman right behind the basket. And I'm wondering if that could have been a distraction, as we heard from Terry that she's been distracted a few times by a few members of the media. And once that gets into your head, it's very easy to stay there.
Sure.
It's a good shot. That's going to be inside circle 2 or just outside circle 2.
So, I mean, that is extreme elevation gain. I mean, that is typical on this course. That's 51 feet. And we haven't seen a birdie yet on this hole. Although we very well might see one today.
This looks perfect. Oh, that one was tracking. She hit that angle perfectly and it was able to ride up that hill. That one would have been absolutely base, but catches that right tree still in the circle. And that'll be a green hit for Katrina.
Yeah, after not seeing any birdies on this hole, there's a very good possibility we could see 2 or 3.
Today, we'll be talking about the Nuke. The Nuke is a wide-rimmed, fast, maximum distance driver. When throwing on a wide-open course with the Nuke, I'm using it to unleash maximum backhand distance potential. Due to its slim profile and wide rim, the Nuke also fits really well in the hand when throwing sidearms. If I'm looking to throw down some boom sauce, I'm going with the Nuke. You can pick one up at Discraft.com or your local disc golf retailer.
And Katrina's going to have a look at birdie from about circle's edge. I'd love to see her get this back and see if we can get her confidence on the back on the right track.
Tough thing about this putt, Marty, is it's actually a low ceiling. You can see that branch just right above her. So with her style of kind of loft putt, she's going to really have to put a little bit extra effort into this one to get the nose angle right so it's not kind of diving into the hill. Just right underneath that branch. Perfectly executed right in the middle of the basket. And that's a kind of, pretty short miss putt from Paige there. Lack of concentration. I'd mentioned before, it's probably pretty tough to remain on that super focused level, being up by as many as she is. Hole 12, 534 feet. Straight down this hill. This one's par 3, but this one plays as more of a par 4. As you can see, this tree on the right, you're going to want to get around it to anywhere about right here so that you have kind of a straight shot into this green. Playing as the second most difficult hole on the course.
Love getting outside and challenging yourself to become better? How about spending time with family and friends, or just marveling at the pure joy of flight? Then you've come to the right place at the right time. Join the PDGA.
When I need to check the wind, I just let out my hair.
Disc golf is 90% mental. The other 10% also mental.
If you want to make new friends on the course, pick up someone's disc in the fairway by accident.
Stay getting birdies, my friends.
is the First Run IPA.
Come visit us in Bend. You'll get fresh beer, you'll get some hospitality, and I guarantee you'll either see Val, Justin, or I.
Fresh as you can get it, right here.
Looks like we do have a backup on hole 12, which we're kind of used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the elevation, once the cards even get into the green, I'm sure they're holding some of the cards to even tee off because of the potential of throwing a perfect shot and getting all the way down there. Here's Holly Finley. She's known to throw some flippy plastic, so expect this one to go. Oh, if this can get underneath these branches, it's not able to, but that was a beeline right down the hill.
She put a move on it. Holly's currently sitting in 8th place. So we see Madison put her drive out there.
And this looks perfect.
Very nicely done.
That might even be the furthest we've seen a drive on this hole.
Wow. And she gets a nice high five from her caddy. As we see Holly approach her lie and try to figure out her shot, she's got to deal with those low branches. Good shot, but it's leaking left. She's going to have a tough shot to get up and down from there. Ellen Winboom looks like she put herself in a great position for her upshot. Beats those trees. Yeah, great shot from Ellen. And we have Jessica approaching her line, trying to figure out her options.
think that was the classic. I don't know which gap I want to aim at, and then throw it right into the one tree that you have to miss.
Oh yeah, well, been there. So important to have a one shot, one thought mentality.
This way.
Now Madison assesses her options. Madison's currently tied for 5th position, +2 for the tournament.
Looks like she got out past the rough a little bit there, but that's going to leave a lengthy putt in for par. Disappointing with how great that drive really was as far as distance is concerned. Once you get to that right side, there are gaps, but they are very small, and you have to be very precise with your decision making and your shot selection. And that one landing a bit short as well. And it seems like everybody but Ellen struggling on this hole to get into position for an easy save. As Jessica says, she thought she was short, and so did we here in the booth. So I believe that red one is Madison's upshot, and the white one up past it is Jessica's. And everybody seems to be pretty close. Very deceiving from our last camera angle.
And this is Holly trying to save her bogey from here. Madison for par. And she connects.
It's a good putt, able to capitalize on such a great drive. Couple pars, couple bogeys from the second card on hole 12, which seems to be about average for this hole. Because of the extreme elevation change here, there is a slight possibility of a perfect shot being thrown that works from left to right and then carries that angle of the hill. You're going to have to beat those couple guardian trees, but I'd love to see somebody get into circle 2 area and possibly give this basket a scare.
Katrina turns that one
this
over.
One.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And that looked great. That might be around that circle 2 area we were talking about.
Wow.
And that is such a tough shot to throw. Downhill to get a disc to turn at your precise spot, which is probably right around 370 feet, to then get a disc to turn it takes a lot of trust.
Unfortunately, Lisa's drive caught that tree.
We saw Paige throw it a little bit left yesterday, and it looks like she's made the correction, and that's a very nice layup.
Yep.
This one could end up a bit right into those woods. We see so many people with that same mistake.
Yeah. Sarah definitely doesn't look happy with that one and probably wishes she had a mulligan on it.
This is the first run IPA.
Come visit us in Bend. You'll get fresh beer. You'll get some hospitality, and I guarantee you'll either see Val, Justin, or I.
Fresh as you can get it, right here.
As we come back, we see Lisa found herself getting some shade points, but putting herself in a very tough position to get up and down from.
She does have a gap, though.
She hits the gap. And she ended up a little short. Paige has a very nice look. into the opening for her upshot. Yeah, Paige was not happy with that upshot of hers.
Yeah, she definitely wants that one back. You can see the disappointment on her face as it goes left into the rough.
Sarah's weighing her options, trying to find her best shot. Thinking maybe a forehand roller.
Maybe a tomahawk? She does make it out. She's going to be in a similar position as Lisa is, and they'll both be right around 45 to 50 feet for their pars.
We get to find out where Katrina's shot ended up.
And it looks like she was able to get inside circle too. And this is a legitimate putt for birdie, which is actually, in my opinion, an eagle.
Yeah.
As far as strokes on the field goes, we haven't seen any birdies at all, which tells me this is to get several strokes on the field, and what a time to do it. A good bid. What a great drive, though.
That was a phenomenal drive. Like you mentioned before, I don't think we've seen anybody in that position on any of our cards.
Yeah, that's the first drive to actually enter into circle 2 on this hole. And Sarah misjudging the height on that putt. She's going to have to settle for a bogey.
Lisa still has one stroke over Katrina.
Yeah, she's going to need to hit this to remain one stroke ahead, which she has been known to make a lot of these just outside the circle to 40 footers, 45 footers. There is not a better putter from this distance in the FPO field besides possibly Paige Pierce. Just always on target, Lisa is, and misjudges the height a little bit there. You can see her being a bit disappointed there. And even though Paige was disappointed in her upshot, she still put herself at circle's edge.
She did. Let's see if she can convert this one. Gives it a great run, just a bit high.
Paige taking her time on that one.
Thankfully, she did catch a little metal on that because that putt could have went way past it otherwise.
A little slam dunk from Lisa.
Oh. And Katrina makes a mistake. I'm sure she'd love to have that one back. And we're going to hear a little word from Terry.
All right, we're checking back in after hole number 12, and everyone still is maybe holding their breath a little bit after we just saw that very short putt missed by Katrina Allen. We thought that she was going to gain a stroke on Paige, but instead she's going to be still knotted up from this particular hole. She picked up a stroke after Paige missed the short putt on the previous hole, but wow, I don't even know what to say to that myself. That was a very short putt. So we're going to continue to see how this unfolds. Paige still, of course, with this very comfortable lead. I checked the scores a few moments ago. I saw that Madison Walker and the rest of the chase card not really making that push. They have at least 2 or 3 strokes to make up if they want to find themselves in that second, third, or fourth place position. So there's still a little bit of cushion there. Paige, the big cushion, the rest of the card, we'll see how things shuffle out. But we'll see if Katrina can clean things up. Paige and Kat both short putts in the last 2 holes. Let's see what happens. We'll see you guys after hole 15.
Thanks for that update, Terry.
We're back to hole 13. This is Jessica Weiss playing that hyzer into the green, and that looked promising. We saw Madison Walker have that start where she was 2 under through 7, I believe, and now she's leaked a few strokes and she's actually sitting at over par on her round. And correction, this is actually hole 14 that we're watching the second card tee off on, and in just a second we'll get back to our live broadcast of the lead card, which is hole 13. Katrina just throwing hyzer up the hill. She'll be fine right there with a, I'm not going to say easy upshot into that pin, but manageable for sure. And touch base on what actually happened on the last hole. It was a short putt she missed, but an incredible drive. And, you know, that's going to feel very disappointing to let that one kind of sneak away from her. Looked like she may have rushed it a bit, and I think we'll see her slow down on the holes to come.
Paige booming one out there.
And that's going to leave a putter up shot from there.
Yeah. Seen her do that the last 2 times. I mean, that's a great drive to get that far up that hill.
I'm Matt Paxton, extreme cleaning expert from TV's Hoarders. People turn to me when they have big challenges. When it comes to making commercial and office buildings look their best, big jobs require big help. When you need your cleaning services to keep your employees working in a professional environment, you can count on the Service Master Clean experts to get the job done with consistent, thorough, and absolutely reliable service every time. Service Master Clean, where the experience matters.
Lisa Fakos will be first to throw her up shot. She gets up top to the hill. I think she put herself in a good position to get up and down. So hole 13 is playing as the second easiest hole. We've seen a couple of birdies. Christine Jennings and Hannah Macbeth both birdied this par 4. As Sarah gets ready to make her upshot. Nicely done. She'll have an outside the circle look for her birdie. That's looking good. That's looking very good. Paige going back to her caddy, deciding to go with the yellow one. And that distance, once again, making an easier approach shot for her. She goes a little long, but I think she'll just be fine from there for her birdie. Looks like Lisa is going to be out. We know she's definitely going to give this a run, especially with Katrina so close to the pin, and she's wanting to maintain that one-stroke lead over her for second place.
And that was good height. I mean, she definitely, like you said, gave it a good bid, which is really all you can do from there, and pulls it a little bit to the right, but she can still stay positive with that effort. And we haven't seen, we've seen a few rounds of Sarah, and we really haven't seen her connect very often from outside the circle. Typically a very good jump putter from just outside the circle. But she's unable to connect right there. Paige is going to have to crawl up to her spot, probably with a kneeling putt or something to that effect. She's got only about 15 feet into the pin, but it definitely is a tricky lie as she completely disappears into the bushes. We've seen her miss a couple shorter putts in the last couple holes, but able to connect from there for birdie.
It's a great effort.
And that's going to put her back to 3 under par for this round, which is right on pace for what she's been managing the last couple rounds. And that's our first missed putt we've seen from Lisa, as maybe a lapse in concentration, and it definitely went a little quicker than we're used to seeing her go, as she shrugs her shoulders like, I don't know what happened. And that's going to be a 2-stroke swing, and Katrina's actually now going to jump into sole possession of second place. Hole 14, 375 foot down the hill. This is definitely a gettable birdie for this card. What you're going to want to do is throw a wide hyzer out over this tall grass, entering into the opening as the drone will fly through, pushing the backside of this corridor here. And if you can push backside, you'll be able to crash into these trees and hopefully get past those bunker trees and give yourself a look. The basket is not on the high rise, so you don't have to worry about that. Previous rounds we've seen really the card kind of struggle on this hole to get into position for the birdie. Yesterday we saw Katrina throw the best drive, but then kind of get an unlucky lie behind the trees, and we've seen Holcomb actually throw backhand on this in the previous couple rounds and not really flatten it out enough. So let's look to see if she can do that. And if this one can get a good skip, this looks like a very good shot, and it is.
Yeah. Well within the circle.
And with that last hole, that 2-stroke swing, now Katrina is in second place. And I can't help but think, as far as the rest of the field goes, you're not going to get a better shot at second place than right now. Katrina is struggling. She has missed some very short putts.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Paige just parks that one. She's missed some short putts. So if there is a time to be able to passer. It's now in this round, and we haven't seen anybody be able to take that extra step and hold on to that second place position. And if you give a great player like Katrina the option to, this one looks nice as Sarah flattens that out, gets to right around circle's edge. But if you give a great player like Katrina that many chances to pull ahead of you, that's exactly what's going to happen, is she's going to seize that chance.
Yep. And that's the difference between a good player and a great player.
Oh, great shot from Lisa. That is going to put the pressure on Katrina now. Katrina isn't in her comfort zone right now. She is sitting at about 15 to 20 foot, which has been her problem spot.
It has.
And this is by far the best driving display on this hole that I've seen in the previous rounds. I mean, they are all circling this basket as Paige Pierce is the furthest out at only sitting about 30 feet away.
And she connects.
And let's see if that good stroke that she just putted will be contagious in the rest of the card. Will they be able to make theirs and possibly have a very rare star frame on this course? Sarah looks to be in a similar position as Katrina was yesterday. Very nice shot, well in the circle, but with an obstructed putt. It just gets tricky. You can be so close to the basket, but then if you're directly behind that exact spot, we even saw yesterday a few misses, and doesn't matter how close you are, it still becomes pretty difficult. Katrina misses another putt from very close, and Lisa's going to tie it back up. That's right around 4 to 5 putts inside 20 feet we've seen her miss, and she's still tied for second place. It's actually quite unbelievable.
You're right.
Which means the driving display that she's putting on right now is that impressive, to where she's able to miss all of these putts and still be in second place. Hole 15, 400 feet. This is a very straight shot for this card. There is OB to the left. I don't think it comes into play. honestly, you want to throw whatever your straightest disc as far as you can possibly throw it. And if you can do that, you can land somewhere around here. Yesterday, we saw Paige actually throw one of the better shots we've seen on camera this year and hit off the rim, almost acing the hole. We also saw another birdie from Madison Walker as she made a nice putt up the hill. So it's definitely a gettable hole.
It is. It's averaging 3.5 or 3.46, just under 3.5. And 33% of the field is shooting bogey or worse on this hole.
And she doesn't get that one turned over enough, and that one's going to leak left into the high grass. But that's a putt from there, honestly.
And she's still pinned high from there. Wow.
What do you think? Do you think Lisa has the distance to get a look on this hole?
With Lisa's putting distance, yes, I do. Unfortunately, she's turned this one over. If it stays
I think this
clean,
is perfect, actually. And she is at the bottom of the hill where we actually saw her make a very nice putt yesterday. And this looks perfect. This is going to be parked.
Great shot from Katrina.
And just putting on a driving display.
Yeah.
You know, in the last 4 holes, she's put the first shot that we've seen in the circle on hole 13 or 12. And then we saw hole 13, her put her drive within 10 feet, then within 20 feet down the hill, and now within 20 feet again. I mean, she is giving herself opportunities.
Yes, she is.
And still under par.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Jones. I'm here with my brand new Prodigy BP3 V2 backpack. And I'm loving this thing a lot. It's extremely lightweight. It's carrying all the discs I could ever ask for. It's pretty sturdy and durable. I've got my 2 putters up here, no problem. Room for a towel if need be. It's really lightweight, it's extremely efficient, and for all you, it's extremely affordable. So come check it out.
Sarah Holcomb throwing a nice up shot in the tap-in range. And with Katrina having this short putt, if Lisa can make this, it will put a little bit more pressure on Katrina's putt, and she has been struggling from inside 25 feet. So big putt here.
Great run, and oh no.
And that's the thing. I mean, You missed low on this one. That was a great bid, but you missed low, and that's the danger here. We saw in our MPO live coverage yesterday, something similar happened to Anthony Barella. Hits the tray, rolls away.
Yeah, that can be punishing, but thankfully it curled there inside the circle.
And she needs to be close. She needs to be very careful now, because if she doesn't get this one up, the same result will happen again if she hits the tray. I mean, this slope is extreme.
I'm sure that's in her head as well.
And this should be a layup. Finally, we see Paige kind of lay off the gas a little bit. We saw a short putt a few holes ago missed by Lisa. We see the long putt miss here, and then the roll to here. I mean, this is a big momentum putt. She needs this to stay within striking distance of Katrina, and she does do that.
It's a phenomenal save.
And that to momentarily remain tied for second place. And it's frustrating as an announcer watching this, because you want to say this is just going to be a tap in. But I mean, the reality is she hasn't been able to tap these in the last few holes.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we're all watching in anticipation.
And you just get the feeling eventually she's going to get back on that hot streak with the putter. And as soon as she does, she's going to pull away from the rest of the field.
Yep. And that putt looked more confident there. Sarah and Paige clean up their pars.
Hole 16, 354 feet. This is just dead straight. You're going to want to throw it to the left side of this tree right here, low, with a penetrating shot so that you can get underneath these branches. If you can do that, then you'll have a putt for birdie. As Sarah Holcomb comes into this hole, she's going to want to throw a flex shot that kind of takes on that pine tree on the left that we just went by. And if she can beat that, then she'll have a nice look for birdie as well. Katrina talking to the gallery. This looks so perfect. It'll be a little bit left and deep though.
Wow.
That'll be circle's edge or just inside the circle. So another great tee shot from Katrina.
That's phenomenal. I mean, that's 354 feet.
Yeah, and she's just peppering the circle one right now and circle two.
Yes, she is.
And Paige catching a nice little break. She pulls that one and then able to fight through the rough to the backside of it, and she'll have a seemingly easy upshot and even a run if she wants it.
Yep.
And Lisa opting for the sidearm here, trying to throw this flex shot. A little bit too low, a little bit too much turn. And that's going to give Katrina another chance to pull now 2 ahead of third place. Sarah unable to navigate that fairway, she catches some early foliage on the left, and we'll have about 80 to 100 feet into the green.
What if I would have gotten up and rolled? Which actually happened on a number of times yesterday.
We saw Sarah throw a similar shot yesterday from here with opting for the sidearm roller. Let's see if she can. Yeah, wow. I mean, just almost hits the pole, and that's good from there. She went a little bit deep, but she's been pretty solid inside the circle so far this tournament.
A great skill to have in the bag. Boom.
Paige taking advantage of the nice break she gets after pulling the drive into the woods, getting a nice kick out, and then lining this one up and slamming it home.
Beautiful.
That's going to push her to 5 under par on this round. And 10 shots clear of second place. What a dominating performance so far by Paige Pierce.
Yes, it has been. I mean, if she can at least par out, she's going to have the new course record.
And that was a better stroke. I mean, she missed high, but it was right on target. And definitely not that left miss that we've seen her from short, and not low. So I think she can take some positivity, even though that was a miss.
Sarah looking to save her par. And she does.
She should just throw sidearm roller always.
I mean, that scramble's so important. We've talked about that a few times, and it's showing itself over and over again. And Lisa always also gets her par.
We're left with just 2 holes to go here during the final round of the Discraft Great Lakes Open. We have to talk a little bit about what we've seen on the putting green, or maybe even just off the green. Paige Pierce cans the long putt from outside circle 1 here on hole 16, as if she hasn't thrown enough daggers today. That puts her 11 strokes clear of second place, which is Katrina Allen at the moment. We see that Madison Walker is still fighting for that 4th place position. We'll see if she can move up in there. There's really nowhere else she can go other than up. She's 3 clear of Ellen Widboom, as they're going to be closing out the round. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw from Lisa Fakis. Also on the previous hole, Lisa gets the bad roll away after the birdie attempt, and Paige Pierce, the first one to give her a little positivity and some encouragement, saying that you still got this, as she's outside the circle. Lisa puts it up there, cans the putt, says, I'm not taking a bogey here. So very impressive to see. I've got a spoiler alert from you internationally. 0-0 for the Women's World Cup that's going on right now. We've got just 2 holes left to play. We'll see you guys on the green after 18.
Thank you, Terry. As we move into hole 17, this is a 630 foot shot, par 4, OB left, rough to the right. We've seen a few of these drives end up into this area, and yeah, I mean, really the name of this hole is just to put it in bounds off the tee. We've seen a few of them struggle with that. As we move into some of the second card shots here, some bonus coverage for us as Jessica Weiss is lining up, and we've seen this be kind of the area that a lot of these players have been landing in, and that's a pretty solid shot from there. Maybe missed her height a bit, but that's up there just outside circle 1. But yeah, if they can navigate their way over that out of bounds and just get into position, you never know what's going to happen. As we were seeing long putts going, we're seeing short missed putts, we're seeing, you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it has been. And this is playing as the second most difficult hole with only 1 par. Liz Carr Sipien was the 1 par on this hole.
You mean birdie?
Birdie, I did mean birdie. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And we saw her actually birdie this hole in the first round.
That is right.
Thank you to the main sponsor of the event, Discraft. Thank you to UDisc for giving us a platform to give you guys all the correct scores, for the most part, Marty, and some great statistics so that we're able to have a few extra things to talk about. And which, with Paige having the power that she does, we're having to wait a little bit longer on this pad for the second group to kind of clear and get up the hill.
You know, it's great to hear Terry sharing that insight of after Lisa's rollaway, and Paige chiming right in that she has that, and you love to hear that on a card.
a little balk from Paige and then just unleashes into this drive. That's going to be just fine.
Great drive. You know, again, that new OB on the left definitely does change this shot.
This Paige has already racked up 7 birdies in this round.
Katrina turns hers over a little bit and unfortunately has ended off the fairway. We'll see if those shrubberies are going to impede her upshot. And Lisa puts a great drive out there right in the middle, giving herself some good footing for her upshot. Sarah's forehand, she's going to play this over the OB and let it fade back into the fairway. However, she gets it turned over, and this one does go OB. And as we come back, Sarah just made her upshot after going OB.
Good shot of the elevation difference between down where they're throwing and up here by the green, as even the cameraman has to zoom down to give us a perspective of their upshots.
Lisa's drive left her right in the middle of the fairway. She's going to have good footing for her upshot. Speaking of good footing, she didn't like something about that, so she's choosing to mark her disc.
And there's a good shot from Lisa. I mean, she got all of that one. And that's going to leave her right at that, same putt that she actually just made on the previous hole, right outside the circle to circle's edge up the hill. Or pardon me, 2 holes prior.
Yep, and that'll give her a look at her birdie. Now we see where Katrina's disc ended up.
That's a tough lie. Those bushes are definitely taller than she is, and so she's going to have to figure out a different kind of stance. And I'm not sure if she's going to be able to have the power to get all the way up to the green. So Lisa now in pretty good position if she can somehow muster up another outside the circle putt.
Yep, with Lisa only sitting 1 stroke behind Katrina for second place.
That's a pretty good shot from that lie.
That is.
Dead straight.
Don't know if she could have done much better.
Generate power from that thing.
Flip each side of this hammer hyzer and let the disc do the work. So they're trying to overpower something up the hill.
I think it's possible.
Looks like Paige is choosing to go putter up shot. And what an upshot it is.
Just as tiring? Isn't that just as tiring? Like, and then
when she said sidewalk, I can't remember the name of the lady who's Discraft bought it, but she's like the local, and she's like a feature car.
oh, let's go.
Yeah, and she just crying and got it for her.
Sarah's looking to flex something up there to get up top. And she scares the basket, but gets a little unfortunate roll away.
I think a little is an understatement. That thing looked like it was cooking down the backside of that hill. Very unlucky result. Which, to our point that we've made a few times, is Paige is throwing the disc so far she's able to throw putter up shot. And that's the difference. The rest of the field is throwing, faster drivers up into this green. And when you land on a slope with a faster driver, the odds of you rolling away or getting a skip or a different kind of reaction off the ground is much higher.
It's a valid point.
Lisa a little further than I thought from one of the angles that we saw this come in on. I don't even know if this is worthy of giving a run at this point. Bad things can happen, and she's only sitting 2 strokes above Holcomb and Madison.
Yep, that's
So decisions to be made for sure.
For sure. I think she's going to try to run it though. I mean, she's got an extreme uphill though. She's having a tough time with her footing.
And I think that was a run, but just so hard to get the height right and to get enough power up the hill on a slope like that to give yourself a chance from that distance is just so difficult.
Good effort, but obviously good result being right under the basket.
And Katrina isn't in gimme range for her this round. She does have about that 18 to 20 footer.
Yep.
As they're trying to find where Sarah actually ended up going.
Page. It should be around Page.
As we see Sarah approach her line, Paul, you're absolutely right. That was a very unfortunate roll away. Oh, looked like a very good putt, but unfortunate result. Katrina taking a little time on this one. And unfortunately, her putting struggles continue.
Yeah, there's not much to say about it. It's just she keeps landing at that exact spot to where she's just unable to gain any confidence. I think once one of those goes in and it goes in the way she wants it to go in, I don't think we would see that anymore. But it seems like it's the same miss. It's left. It's, low. Not much else to say about it. I mean, we expect her to make those, and it's just not happening today. Hole 18, 315 foot. I mean, out of bounds left right here. Low ceiling gap you have to hit. You see the green, we're going to see a lot of layups kind of to the middle of the fairway and then playing their approaches in probably about 80 feet away. I don't think there's been any birdies on this hole so far, maybe even in the entire tournament. So if they can get par, that plays as birdie on this hole.
You're correct. And Katrina and Lisa now are both tied for second place.
Page throws a shot in the middle of the fairway with a putter.
I think she's choosing to do that because of the OB on the left and just playing safe.
Yeah, I think so. And that'll put the pressure on Katrina, and Katrina's going all out on this shot. She does have the distance and has been throwing the disc good enough to get herself a look on this hole. She's going to need to throw it perfect, but with a and that is perfect. She's going to be right at circle 2, so.
Yep.
So I would say slight advantage Katrina at this point, just being that much closer to the pin.
Yep.
And that one's going to remain out of bounds for Sarah. And that's going to seal her fate outside of the top 4.
Ouch. Yeah, a couple of OBs on the last 2 holes definitely is not what she wanted. Paige definitely wants to get up and down and get her par on this hole.
As she leads by 12 strokes.
But securing her new course record. Lisa trying to decide which way she wants to go for this approach. Or do you think she might give it a run?
No, I think she just wants to put this one close. And I think playing the sidearm is the smart play to get around that branch on the right. And she actually just goes over. And that's not a gimme.
No. It definitely is not, but it's definitely something that we've seen her knock down all day. But it definitely is going to be a tester.
And if Katrina can put this one close, Lisa's 25-footer, that's going to feel more like a 30, 35-footer, especially with all the pressure of the whole tournament on. So let's see if Katrina can actually do exactly that. And she does put that one closer, so.
Yep. Yep. So the pressure is going to be on Lisa to make that putt to secure second place.
It actually looks to Katrina is right at that range at 20 feet.
Wow. Lisa just low and no.
She's going to really need to take some time here and gather herself. That is a very disappointing miss and a very disappointing roll away, but this is a crucial putt.
And she does it again.
What a putt.
No. You know, mentally she's tough. It takes mental fortitude to be able to do that.
And this is an important putt for Sarah. That was to tie for 5th place. And instead she's going to move into 6th place, being jumped by Jessica Weiss. Oh, and Katrina's way closer than I thought, and that's going to secure it. That's second place right there.
Nice. Nice. Good for her. Paige grabs her par and the new course record.
And secures her win by 12 shots over the field.
Dominant fashion.
Marty, hard to describe what we even just saw throughout that whole round. I mean, lots of ups and downs for really every single competitor. We see Paige Pierce just completely dominate the card again at a 5 under par score, which is the best score in the tournament. She has 7 birdies on the round, which is quite impressive.
Yes,
but as we move one spot down, we see Katrina, and Katrina Allen. She has 6 birdies on her scorecard as well, which is also quite impressive, especially to the fact that she missed at least 5 putts inside 25 feet.
Yeah, it made for a very interesting battle between Katrina and Lisa for second place.
Very exciting, yeah. And we see the last hole kind of, Lisa puts herself in her position to where she wants to be. She wants to have that putt. She's known as a great putter, and maybe the moment was a bit too big for her this time as she misses it and gets the unfortunate roll away. But that just shows you how great Paige Pierce is and how great Katrina Allen is, with even after all of her struggles being able to secure that second place finish is really quite impressive. As we move down the leaderboard, Lisa does secure that third place finish at even par for the tournament. That shows us how tough this course really was throughout the week. Madison Walker with a solid performance, moving up 2 spots with a +1 round today. Jessica Weiss rounding out our top 5. Sarah DeMar in 10th, Rebecca Cox in 9th, Holly Finley in 8th place, and Alan Windboom in 6th, in a tie for 6th, pardon me, with Sarah Hokum. So a lot of great storylines. We're waiting on an interview, hopefully from our leader, Paige Pierce, so we can really get into the mind and what she's feeling, how happy she is about this win. A couple things about Paige is this is her 5th win in a row.
Wow.
So she has found her, groove since late May and has held that, just dominating performances after dominating performances. She just completely shortened this course with her power, made it look seemingly easy as the rest of the card really struggled. She had putter upshot after putter upshot for birdie, and it just looked exactly that easy.
Yes, it did. It was really impressive play and fun to watch.
And thank you to all our viewers. Thank you to our sponsors as well. Discraft stepping up big, of course. UDisc for giving us the live, statistics and everything. Savage Apparel for everything that they have done so far. Grip 6, Infinite Discs. Zuka Cards providing us with those awesome replays. Johnny in the always in the back scenes, directing everybody, all the camera crew, everybody like that. And yeah, just another great job from the Pro Tour, another great job from the local tournament directors there. And there's really not much else to say. I mean, we're going to see you guys soon from here in the booth, and we'll be covering our MPO leaders, which I am super excited about as well. And we're only seconds away from Terry, who's going to give us a nice update from there on the property, as I'm sure Paige has a few things she has to do, probably finalizing her scorecard and addressing, I'm sure, a couple anxious fans. Here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. I am joined with our champion here, Paige Pierce. Paige, congratulations. How does it feel?
Great, great. I put together 3 solid rounds, so it feels good to minimize my mistakes and just come out with a really clean tournament.
Well, you shot a 4-under to open the tournament. You thought 6 might be the best. You turn around, you shoot another 4-under, that's still the best, and then you do even better with a 5-under. So, course records, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I was really shooting for that 6, and the shorty I had on 17, I thought I did it, but yeah, it was good enough golf to get the job done, and I think, you know, around 1,000 rated tournament, so can't be disappointed with that. But I know there's more out there, so I'm always going to keep striving for better. Yesterday we talked with Lisa about just cleaning up 1 hole or 1 shot. Safe to say hole 8 somehow has your number? Yeah, I don't, well, I'm playing this tournament blind, and I think that's the hole that cost me the most strokes. I forward it 3 days in a row, and honestly, I wouldn't say that I should be 2ing it, but I should be getting in position to have a putt for 2. And, you know, it didn't work out that way. I didn't even know that there was a high line until I saw Madison Walker. I played with her 2nd round, throw this shot, and she was well inside the circle. So once I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, I see the line now. Now I just got to throw it, but still couldn't pull it off. New game plan for next year. Then you'll worry about it then. Definitely. So with this win, you distance yourself a little bit more on the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings. You're in 1st, and now you're going to have a little bit more cushion. That's got to feel good coming in the last few events of the season, doesn't it? Yeah, it definitely feels good. I mean, my real goal in mind is Player of the Year, and this really improves my chances. So I'm feeling good, and especially not even just this tournament, but I feel really good about where my game is going into Worlds. Well, and that was my next question. You came out here and you had the 11 or 12 stroke cushion. I mean, as Nate Doss from Discraft would say, that was really a statement performance. How do you feel with that confidence? As far as this tournament, or just with how well you played here, and now we're moving into the latter half of the season. I mean, it seems like everything's clicking. Your drives were way past everyone else's, and your putt was really dialed. Yeah, I mean, I've been throwing the disc really well all year. A couple errant shots per tournament or per round, but I'm kind of cleaning those up, and even when I'm not, I'm getting up and down, and that's something that I've been lacking. You know, I think back to Vegas, and I couldn't even get my up shot inside the circle. So now I'm getting it close, and I'm hitting the putt, and I feel confident all around in all parts of my game. So I'm really excited. This month can't go by soon enough. Well, next on your in your plans, you're going to head down to Emporia. We know you're really passionate about the Junior Worlds and Am Worlds. We'll see you down in Emporia in just a few days. Yeah, I fly out on Tuesday. I'll be landing just in time for the players' meeting Tuesday night, and we're running a luck of the draw. So if you guys are in Emporia, come say hi. And then play starts Wednesday, and we'll just kind of be rotating throughout all the courses. Try to see every division, but there's so many kids out there, and just try to see as much kids as I can possibly see. It's going to be great. Well, fair to say this is a little bit of a birthday present for your dad, a win this weekend. Anything else you'd like to say to everyone that watched? Yeah, happy birthday, Dad. I know they're on a road trip. He was trying to watch yesterday. He didn't actually see the shout out, so happy birthday, Dad. He said he wanted me to win for his birthday, so I wouldn't say this is fully for you. This was also for me, but thanks for watching, Dad, and supporting always. I love you, and thank you guys all for watching. The messages I get all the time are so encouraging, so thank you guys so much. All right, well, this is Paige Pierce. She's your 2019 Discraft Great Lakes Open champion. Thanks to everyone that participated, all of our cameramen hustling around in the booth this weekend, as well as our booth that was coming in from Arizona. Of course, we're going to have the final round for the men coming up with you in just a few hours. Again, for Paige Pierce, your champ, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, we'll catch you guys next time. Go Zach Melton! Nice work. Thanks. It's a course of 1,000 cuts.